What's up guys, welcome back to the channel and yet another mXrevival bike build completed. Today I want to talk to you guys about this really awesome 2002 YZ250 that, if you remember from a couple of months ago, showed up in about 4 different Rubbermaid bins and various parts and pieces scattered all over the place. This thing is 100% done. It came out amazing. We have a really cool old school vintage vibe. So in today's video I want to talk to you guys about cost, because I promised that I would do that in the final reveal video as well as final overview video. We're going to go over all the parts and pieces. And then, just like the Ricky Carmichael tribute build, if you guys are interested in finding any of these parts or pieces to make your bike a little more badass, there will also be a brand new shop per build on mxrevival.com. So you guys can leave me a question. If I miss anything, it's quite possible that I will. I get really excited talking about these and I kind of motor on. Now, if you guys want to get caught up with the before of this bike, before we tear into this video, go ahead, check out this link card right here. Check out the way this bike came to me. Like I said, in Rubbermaid bins, the hardware, disgusting. The engine, disgusting. Not anymore. This thing is ready to go. Let's go ahead and dive into this thing. Oh, and real quick, Robert, thank you so much for allowing me to do this to your bike. I love these types of opportunities and I really appreciate your trust. Let's dive into this thing. Okay, there she is up close and personal. First off, what an absolute pleasure to look at. This thing makes me so freaking happy. The color scheme, the cleanliness, the fit and finish of everything, absolutely love it. A little background on this build: Robert had initially purchased this Revolution body kit, which we'll get into in a minute, off my website, which I'm also grateful for. Ended up hitting me up and saying, hey man, I got this project, it's in pieces, I bought this RTEC kit from you, do you want to just build it? Obviously. So that was really cool. You just never know how you're going to make new friends. And actually, right after this video, guys, we're loading up, headed off to Dirt Bike Magazine. So you will see a published version of this too. And if Robert's feeling brave, he might even let him ride it. We'll see. It's always tough to put scratches in something like this. Let's go ahead and start at the top of this retro beauty, because it seems the easiest thing to do. You guys might remember, with those bins and this bike in pieces came some brand new parts. Robert had some brand new Tusk impact wheels. He had some handlebars, the clutch perch setup, some brake rotors, some bearings, and so on. So I was able to play with those things and add to them and make this. So for example, he had these bars already. These aren't actually Phoenix bars. They actually look like OEM Yamaha bars to me. And what lurks beneath this killer bar pad from Jason at Phoenix, and my personal favorite grip, which are not only soft but pretty long lasting, lurks another little toy from my buddy Adrian at Ride Engineering. And so these here, these one-piece bar mounts, drop right into stock triple clamps, which is very nice. If you don't have, $800 for a full setup and you're still running your stock clamps, you can just get one of these. They're anti-twist. You guys can see there are 8 M6 bolts in it. Really nice machine piece. You can also flip it front and back. So just something I wanted to show you guys. It is a really nice piece of hardware in my opinion. Now, on the topic of triple clamps, and as I mentioned, these are stock triple clamps. They're actually off of a 2016 YZ250F that I bought a front end for and had these left over. So this worked out perfectly. This is no longer the open bath, old school suspension. These are a set of triple S forks off of a modern Yamaha. Same with the shock, and we'll get into that more in a little bit here. But this steel frame, everyone's old school favorite, with the modern suspension, the triple S that came out 06 and up, dude, Velcro on dirt. This is, if I could build myself a YZ, it would look just like this. Now, I know you guys are going to be wanting a little bit more data, and I've covered it before on how to swap these. If you guys get a set of triple clamps off of a YZ125 or YZ250, they will literally drop right in here. You can use the 4-stroke stuff too, but then you'll need to put your 2-stroke steering stem into those clamps. Also, if you're going to be using clamps off a 4-stroke, you need 4-stroke tubes, because the 2-stroke has a 2 millimeter larger diameter upper clamp and upper tube on the fork here. So very important. If you guys just get 2-stroke stuff straight away, it'll bolt up nice. Everything fits perfect. You don't need a stem swap. And then also, you won't have a gap here in your number plate. Pretty much just swaps right on. But if you do end up with some 4-stroke stuff, it's just as simple as getting 4-stroke tubes also. Like, let's say that's just what you had lying around, you had an old bike, whatever. Go ahead and use the 4-stroke tubes. Just make sure you use a 4-stroke clamp, and then you are going to have a little bit of a gap issue, maybe a stop issue right there where the clamps contact the frame stop. And other than that, it's pretty straightforward. And not to worry, you guys, your wheel will bolt right on as long as you keep it YZ250. And if you guys are going 4-stroke, I believe the axle or spacers or something changed on the 4-stroke in 2014. So now when this bike showed up, it did have the 2002 suspension. I found myself on eBay looking for a clean set of SSS, which sometimes can be daunting and hard to do. And I did find a set, and they were really nice. However, when I sent this stuff off to my boy Brandon at AHM Factory Services, we discovered that one of the lower tubes, the chrome portion there, was actually crushed inside of the fork glove, because when those bolts are too long that hold your fork guards on, they will smash the tube. So there's always a surprise when you go on eBay. Thankfully, Brandon has all kinds of stuff like that lying around at all times. So a quick fix, and we were on our way. Now, obviously, these forks are very purple. This idea came from the 91 KX 250, I believe it was. It was a single year, I believe, that had blue forks. So very vintage, excuse me, and very cool looking. And with this theme, I could not resist. All I told Brandon was, bro, please match the Xcel rim purple. And guys, he absolutely nailed it. So good job, Brandon. Now, while we're talking about suspension, that is also a SSS shock. You can pull one of those right out of an 06 to 09 4-stroke 450, and they drop right in. So you can also get them out of 250Fs. You just have to be mindful of when they swap shock styles because of the reverse 4-stroke engine. So one of those will drop right in, and also out of a 2-stroke, a shock will drop right in, probably all the way until 2025. So that hasn't changed much. As far as the look of the shock goes, just a nice, clean Cerakote job by Brandon. They handle that sort of thing too if you need it. Got a nice vapor blasted compression adjuster up there. OEM looking rear spring. Everything's just really, really clean. Let's go ahead and talk about this body kit really quick. Like I mentioned at the top of the video, this is called a Revolution kit from Artec in Italy, and we've been slanging these for them for about 5 years, and they're really cool. It's just a completely different and alternate body style for YZ125s and 250s, and this thing bolts right on with no modifications whatsoever from 2002 up to 2021. 22 is when they changed to the current body style, I believe. So drop it right on, comes with a gas tank. Really cool, it holds about a quarter gallon more fuel. Also, I love this kit because you get a black gas tank. That means from here on out, you don't have a OEM blue tank where when you bolt radiator shrouds on it, you got a blue tank and then some other color shrouds. These actually bolt on under the seat. Very European, not up here, but back here. And they use those plastic screws just like KTM. So now you can choose from 8 different colors and get the replacement plastic kit only, and you'll already have the tank. So the look of this thing, very, very sharp. Also alters the rear number plate setup here. Comes with airbox sides, and these will graft onto your original airbox core, and that's what allows you to run the different style rear number plates. The rear fender, the front number plate, and front fender are actually the same style as the 15 through 21 YZ OEM cuts. So those come in the kit, but if you want to mix it up, you can swap those out without any difficulty. And as you guys can see, we obviously have the decal template for it as well. Now, when I first sent one of these Revolution kits over to my friends at DeCal Works, who handle quite literally everything that comes out of mXrevival, they actually hand templated it to make the kit fit really, really well. You guys can see the die lines follow the plastic incredibly well. We don't have any weird sort of gappy, strange stuff going on. Just very fluid fit everywhere. Got to make sure you got a matching stand, especially if you're going to be getting all fancy in the magazines. And then, of course, my friends at DeCal also hooked me up with this custom gripper seat cover. Had an opportunity to play with the colors a little bit, keep it fun, keep it retro, something a little bit different, fits perfect. Overall, like I said, I can't take my eyes off this thing. I love it. If you guys are as geeked on this as I am, it will be on the mxrevival.com shop for build. The body, the decals, the seat, the stand, all this stuff and much more. While we're on the topic of stickers and graphics, my boys at DeCal Works, a little bit of unobtainium. They won't make these for you guys just yet. Special decals for Robert. You got mXrevival on there. You got his race number. We'll check out the other side when we hit the other end of the bike. Let's get down to the root of this thing here. You guys see a fresh white powder coated frame. You see Cerakote concrete triple clamps. You guys see concrete brakes with black caps. You see all kinds of fresh swing arm coatings here. This one's called Porsche Silver. All this stuff comes from my buddy Dean at Fast Blast and Coat. He's an absolute wizard. Not only does he lay down powder coat and Cerakote, but he also even welded something for me the other day. So the dude does it all, and really that is the very, very first step. When these things come apart, they go straight to Dean, and he handles all the coatings. Something else I love that Dean has, he actually has a heat dissipating coating just for radiators. So if you guys take a look in there, my buddy Brett over at ICW went ahead and seam welded all the tanks, gusseted everything, put the braces in. Dean lastly sprayed it with this really killer coating. They put it on exhaust pipes. I guess it reduces exhaust temperatures by like 50%. It's actually something absurd. They coat on the inside of exhaust, the outside. It looks really cool, and it actually has a function. Of course, I got down on this bad boy with a pick and straightened all those fins. Took forever. So Dino knocked it out of the park, as he always does, and bolted onto his fancy coatings. We got some 3DP Moto brake line guides. These are 3D printed by my buddy Josh. As you guys can see, we got Robert's last name in there. Just a nice custom touch that's something easy to do, very affordable. And then also back here, bolted to Dean's Porsche silver powder coated swing arm, which looks like vapor blasting. Josh also made these brake line guides for us. So we're getting into some pretty cool stuff. Things like CDI sleeves. I don't know if you guys can see the sleeve on that CDI box in there. But stuff like that that's now no longer available, Josh can make it. We've been trying to do it for the Hondas and the Suzukis. Another thing here Josh did is he makes swing arm plugs. So rather than those grayish ones that sort of tinge yellow after a while, you guys can get white ones, black ones, OE gray ones, whatever you want. Josh has all that stuff. Let's go ahead and hop into the wheels real quick. Obviously, we got some really killer purple Xcels. My friends at Dubya built these for us. Let's find that fancy little decal they put in the hub there. Now, you guys remember me saying that Robert already had a set of Tusk impact wheels. If you guys watched that first video, you know I was trying to follow a really strict budget because I want to deliver maximum hit, the most value, but also have a bike that looks like this, because I can't really do it any other way. And as I get better and my reputation grows, I really have to protect that too. And so, Robert, thanks for flying with that. But what we did is I delaced his Tusk stuff, sent it out to W, got these purple rims that we knew we had to have for a retro build like this, and W actually laced everything back to these brand new Tusk hubs that Robert already had. So tried to save a little bit of money rather than buy a brand new wheel set. So they reused the hub, the spokes, and the nipples on these, and they just came up amazing. This is a combo I absolutely love. I actually have always really liked the white of the Tusk Impact hub. And had it not been for that combo, you kind of can't really, nor would you see this really anywhere or ever. You know, the Tusk stuff, you don't get the availability of rim color. It's very basic, very affordable, very durable. But now we've got some real good hit in there. So W and crew, absolutely killer job. We'll get to that blackened hardware, don't you worry. Now this sexy little engine here, this guy, had the pleasure of rebuilding myself. That was quite fun. Dean also went ahead and coated the bottom end for me. You guys wouldn't actually know it. These are not brand new Boysen covers. I had these used, much like the triple clamps from that same 2016 demo bike. Dean went ahead and resprayed these. I believe it's called Satin Texture Black. I'm not sure. You guys can send them your parts. He'll handle it. And then he burned the coating off. So these actually look like brand new Boysen covers. They are not. I find that fascinating. They look really good. Now Robert already had a power core silencer, so we kept it cohesive with one of FMF's raw pipes. Looks really cool. This is exactly how it comes out of the bag. And while we're on a budget and it already looks pretty cool, we don't go ahead and brush it up and vapor blast it and clear coat it. We just let it be what it's going to be. And it looks really cool. It's got some purples in it from the welding, matches the wheels and the forks quite nice, and the decals. Now during the engine rebuild, went ahead and had the cylinder refinished by my friends at Power Seal USA. They will send it back with a bore matched piston, which is really cool. Nothing fancy on the head. Again, we were on a budget here, so some of Dean's Cerakote. Also got a little bit of concrete gray on the exhaust valve color covers in there. Hard to see, but we'll be on the other side soon enough. Now inside the engine, the transmission, Robert got really lucky because it had very, very little wear. It actually looked close to new, so it was either a really low hour bike, which I sort of doubt just due to its age, or somebody had replaced everything in there once. I actually believe that is more likely because when I was installing the clutch basket, put very minimal torque on one of the bolts that holds the clutch pack in, and it actually shattered the inner hub. So probably got replaced, that transmission, at one point. You guys may have noticed that the chassis itself is loaded with black hardware. Brakes, black hardware, axles, black, exhaust hangers, black. Anything that holds the engine in black, and then a nice little contrast and pop off this bottom end with one of Dave's Bolt motorcycle hardware engine fastener kits. I use these on every engine I build. These are amazing. They come with every bolt, every crush washer, everything to bolt the head on, you name it. The fastener for your engine is in that kit, and they're only like 40 bucks. In fact, over here on Project Turd Polish, and forgive me for the lighting, you can throw one of those bolt kits right in your used engine. You don't need to take your engine apart to put one of those on. So very cool. Now moving on from the beautiful silver zinc bolts, we have some black zinc, guys. This whole thing, all the blown out crappy hardware from episode 1 of this bike series. Clevis, plunger, all the guts inside. Basically everything, for the most part, that touches white frame, upper shock mount, lower engine mounts, main frame stuff, I try to keep black. So there's a little bit of a method to the madness. It also looks really good in any variation you choose. So, you don't have to get too particular about it, but mainly the goal was to refinish all the steel, everything in the brakes, all the pins in there, caps, you name it, all black. All the main hardware you wouldn't want to buy again, axles, engine hangers, linkage, cost a fortune. I just redo it in black. You can redo it in silver too. It really doesn't matter, but with this white frame, I'm loving the black. And right now in this phase of my bike building life, I'm really geeked out on hardware. I just get such a kick out of all the little fasteners that hold everything together, and the fact that we can actually not only refinish them and make them better than new, but modify the color. I think that's pretty badass. Now you guys may or may not have already noticed Cameron's Pryme MX frame guards on there. You guys all know Cameron recently lost his battle with leukemia, one of the worst days in the moto community ever, but Nick, his fearless understudy, badass dude, has taken over. He's going to help Haley keep Pryme moving. So as you guys can see, these guards, which they have for a variety of different bikes, and everything I don't have in the shop or build, stuff like these, that's going to be linked below for you guys so you can find this stuff for your bike too. But Nick's keeping it moving. Stuff fits perfect. A little bit of rubbing alcohol. You guys can't even tell almost if this is a coating damn near. If you didn't see the edges, look how it follows the welds. It's amazing. Follows all the contours, just a really small amount of heat. The die lines are really great. So I'm really glad that we can continue to support Cameron's brand. I know you guys are going to go like crazy to do the same thing, and they just look amazing. So good job, Cam. On the topic of Cam, you guys can see this Kickstarter here and this brand new brake pedal down here. Very bright. Hit those with some Pryme MX fine wheels, followed by some SOS pads, so that'll give you a nice bright look. Also, this was massaged. You guys know these little areas here get destroyed by the foot pegs. We'll go there next. And massage that with a coarse Pryme wheel first before the fine, and then finally the SOS on here. So another great product they make. This bad boy here actually came off the same bike that I had spare parts lying around from the covers and the triple clamps. Now what's lurking behind this bad boy here? And I need to do a better job of getting you guys some info on these, and I'll explain to you what they are and why I like them, but you got some pro pegs in there. Sharp as hell, holy crap. Those things will take a chunk out of you. Gotta watch out for those things, but your boots aren't coming off most likely. A little bit more blacked out hardware. Got the springs blacked out. Just looks so good. Now, let's talk about these a little bit. These are called Shin Savers. And I have a 3-year-old daughter running around the garage. First of all, I don't want her smashing her face into that. I also don't enjoy smashing my shins into those either when I'm moving bikes around the shop, the garage, in and out of the truck, whatever it may be. So these are really cool. They fit things like the Pro pegs, the Fastways, the stock pegs, the Raptors, especially the Raptors in these Pro pegs, basically perfectly. We're pretty sure they were modeled after that. And then also, it just Velcros to its buddy on the other side, so you can keep them together, you don't get them lost. These are awesome. If you got a clumsy kid flying around your garage and you don't want to go to the ER, I would strongly recommend these. Also right now, this bike and 3 others are going to dirt bike, as mentioned. Now, if the trailer shifts or I hit a big bump and the bikes move around in the trailer, these sharp-ass pegs are not going to hit the swing arm or caliper or whatever it may be side of the engine on the bike it's right next to. So these are amazing. I will get you guys some more info as soon as I can and leave it in the description for you with everything else. I'm not familiar with who makes these yet. My buddy Tony acquired these for us, and so I love them, and I'll do a better job. I'm gonna go ahead and get this bad girl flipped around. We can go over some cool stuff on the other side, and after we're done with the other side, we're gonna talk about exactly how much Robert spent on this thing. All right, we are flipped, and damn, she pretty. Let's take another shot of that decal from the other side. Special edition. Cool thing about this side, you get a really nice view of that engine without a pipe in front of it. Looks unreal. I still can't believe these aren't brand new Boyson covers. Dean, you killed it on those. Love the vapor blasting. Of course, guys, we've got the brand new Lectron Pro Series carb in there. When bikes come to me to build, they don't have stock carburetors, and even if they do have a stock carburetor, that's usually the go-to. These new ones even have a TPS. You guys may remember the old ones did not have TPS hookups on them. These new ones do, so you don't have any wires dangling around. They also come standard with the brand new Xccelerator Metering Rod, which is really cool. It picks up a little bit of fuel right when you lift the slide with your throttle hand. There's like a groove cut into the rod. Tons more bottom end. It's kind of like an accelerator pump for a 4-stroke. Brand new cables, brand new hoses, fully rebuilt engine, cleaned up power valve, all that stuff vapor blasted. Got the gold chain, looks killer. Of course, the Pro Pegs. Another look at Cameron's Pryme MX frame guard there. They have these in colors other than white as well. This is just the obvious choice, but man, these things fit the frame like a freaking wetsuit. Another shot of those coated radiators. It just came out so good. I'm in love with this thing. Now, one thing we did not talk about yet were these Lightspeed carbon fiber fork guards here. As you can see, DeCal Works, thank you guys so much, makes me pretty much whatever little stupid custom decal I need. You got a nice gradient in there from purple to pink. Of course, it's the OE Lightspeed logo, so put those right exactly where the red ones used to be. Red was not going to fly on this build. Same in the back here. You guys may have also noticed the disc guard on the other side with another special little mini logo. Came out killer. Brand new MX34 tires. Of course, our buddies at Dunlop keep us fully stocked with the tire stickers that everybody is so lusty for. Now, before we wrap this thing up and talk about exactly how much it costs to build parts and labor or services, trying to find any other noteworthy little things. Of course, you got the coated brakes. You guys didn't see those yet. On this side, got an oversized brake rotor. That's a Tusk setup there. Those came with the bike, so that's a big 270. We got the stainless line, of course, fully rebuilt. Everything's fully rebuilt. Doesn't matter what it is. Got the Vforce in there. That combo with the freshly rebuilt engine and that carb, the throttle, it is so crisp. It barks like a freaking raped ape. Can I say that on here? This is actually something cool I had lying around. Dave over at Bolt Motorcycle Hardware used to make these axle blocks, excuse the poor lighting, but they actually eliminate the jam nut, and you just spin this 10mm here and it drags the axle forward and back. So I don't think you can get those anymore. Like I said, I had them lying around from a previous build where they didn't get used, so those are really cool. I was able to slap those in there. Now I think I'm done yapping. I'm pretty sure that covers most of it. If there's something I glazed over in here, didn't talk about at all, something you noticed that I just failed to mention entirely, or even if you just have a general question, I would love to help you guys. You guys know I love chopping it up with you in the comments. So leave me a comment or a question in the comments. If you need me to answer something, I would be happy to do it. Let's go ahead and talk about just how much of Robert's money we spent on this thing. All right, guys, as promised, let's go ahead and talk about cost. How much did it cost to build this machine? And I wanted to shed some light on this because I think it will be helpful for not only people who maybe want to get something like this done, but they're not sure what it costs, or if you're aspiring to be a bike builder or an aspiring bike builder already, that might be helpful for you as well. I do get emails quite frequently about Brendan Wheeler. If you're watching this, you popped into my mind right now. I haven't answered you because I've been full throttle, but somebody will ask me a question, and I hope this answers it for you, about how much should I charge? Or I got this bike and somebody gave me $5,000 or whatever it is. And we're going to talk about that right now. So I use a tracking system on the computer that will track not only my hours, so I can track the labor rate, but it also tracks every part or piece or service that was purchased. It could be anything from, you know, I spent 15 bucks on shipping this package out to so-and-so, or I spent 40 bucks packaging and shipping the suspension out to AHM, all the way to, you know, this Lectron or whatever the part may be, whatever the service may be. Every single penny is tracked. Now, I also share this sheet throughout the process with whomever I'm building the bike for, so that person has access to it up to the minute, which is really cool. They can see everything in a nice itemized, organized, detailed way, exactly where their money went, what to expect, maybe something fun to anticipate on their bike. And so after doing that on several bikes, I have a really good idea of about how much time they take me, anywhere from usually 80 hours to 120 hours. Now, back in the day, no, but now with certain connections, friends, resources, whatever, pretty much have the total package ironed out until my skill set increases and I go through some more suck on some other things, and then factor that in as well down the road. Anyhow, this bike was about 82 hours per my tracking sheets. Probably took about 3 months to build. You're waiting for things to come back. Suspension anodizing, for example, takes 4 to 6 weeks usually. Meanwhile, things like the engine are being rebuilt, or the frame, first things first, out of powder coating, so that when the frame comes back, you're almost ready to stuff your engine in, and so on and so forth. So now the total cost on this one was about $17,500. That's parts and labor. And we also got to bear in mind that Robert did purchase some parts for this thing before he sent me the bike. So for example, he had $500 into his Revolution body kit. He had a set of wheels. Those are probably $500 to $600 from Tusk. So we'll go ahead and call this bike, because of parts, labor, and parts he already had, 20 grand, just a nice even number. Now breaking down the parts and labor, I'm a little under 7 grand earned on labor for those 3 months. So obviously, as you can see, if you do the math, my labor rate is really low. I'm good with that amount of money. I almost don't even do this for money. It's just, you need money to survive. I love this and would do it for free if I could afford it. Now you gotta be careful who you say stuff like that to sometimes, because earlier on, I would have said the same thing, but I would have discounted my value. But now I know what I'm capable of, what I will be more capable of in the future, and I also have the contrast of where I came from when I sucked at this. So parts, therefore, were about $11,000, and that includes everything. Like, this bike is no stone unturned. The engine's fully rebuilt, the crank's rebuilt. Like I said earlier, you know, if he needed a transmission, he'd have been in another couple grand. You know, his exhaust valve assembly wasn't damaged, so I was able to clean that up in the solvent tank, then vapor blast it and assemble it nicely without, you know, a bunch of broken pieces or screws snapping off in the cylinder. But every, you know, cable, throttle cables, clutch cables, levers, brake rebuilds, brand new pistons inside the brakes, all new gasket kits, the powder coating, all the bearings, the installation of all the bearings. You get the point. There's nothing, down to the smallest screw, that wasn't either refurbished or replaced. So 20 grand for something like this that there's only one of, in my opinion. You know, you got the old school flexi steel frame chassis that we all miss so dearly, with the brand new, including the suspension. I had to buy him new suspension, so that was in there too. I don't think you can beat that. It's pretty amazing, and I know the bike's going to rip. It's going to be stuck to the ground, like I said earlier, Velcro on dirt. And so for me, I really enjoy this being one of the ways I earn a living. Obviously, the giveaway bikes will blow this out of the water on a labor side, but this is really fun. I got to continue to do something useful, productive to society, something that you guys enjoy, and I can't wait to see Robert for the first time next week, because we're going to take this out to Cal City MX. We have the track rented out. Dirt Bike Mag is going to come out. We're going to do photo studios, all that sort of thing. So that's just another angle of this sector of you know, earning a living or being creative, or whatever you want to call it, that adds to the overall package of my life just kicking ass, I guess you could say. Now, if you're also resourceful and you think maybe that price is a little high, which literally I've never been able to get it any lower, you can also take all your old things, you know, your used parts, the old triple clamps, the old suspension, the old wheel bits, things that came out of the engine that were still good but were no longer salvageable for a project of this magnitude, and you can sell all that crap. You know, mXrevival started out as an eBay store back in like 2016 or something. I was just parting out bikes and taking apart blown up things and selling the good pieces. So there is that angle as well. And so I hope that is helpful in terms of what it might cost to build a bike. Obviously, you can go way, 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 way deeper. That's fine. We do that too. We hit 30 once in a while. But when a customer has a budget in mind, you know, at least I can tell him, sorry, there's no way I can touch that. But if you're willing to roll with me, I'll do my best. And then, you know, we end up at the apex of bang for your buck, value, custom. I get to be productive, somebody else gets something amazing, and it's just a really good ecosystem. So again, I hope that sheds some light on some things for you guys. If you have any questions, not only about the bike as mentioned earlier, but you want me to do a bit of a deeper dive on this part of the video, I'd be happy to. If I can answer the question, I certainly will. I know that to some degree, you're kind of just getting a number, and I can't compartmentalize, you know, 8+ years of experience and break all that down to how we got to this point, or, you know, now that we know people or know how to do certain processes or know where to send something, you know, that stuff was all earned ahead of this. But again, I'd be happy to answer any questions if you have them, so just blast them below. Having said all that, again, Robert, I'm so appreciative of you sending me your bike in a bunch of bins. We just got another one from New York, so Anthony, your KX250 will be coming up soon. Dan, RC4 Tribute, grateful for you as well. My whole entire build team, everybody I know that helps move these along, make my life easier, make the projects come out as badass as they do. You guys mean the world to me. So next up, Dirt Bike Magazine. I'm gonna load this thing up as soon as we are done filming. It's in the trailer with 4 other badass bikes. Be on the lookout for some of the print and YouTube stuff coming out from Dirt Bike Mag. They are a part of my ecosystem as well, and they honestly put the cherry on top at the end of these little projects. So very excited. I hope you guys have an amazing day, an amazing week, whenever you may be watching this. And again, if you have any questions, blast them below. Until next time, I will see you in the next video, which will probably be one of these for the RM250 giveaway. I'll see you guys in the next one.